The owner of an anonymous Twitter account has been unmasked. Now, why is this news? Why is this important? Well, I'm going to explain. So this is the Libs of TikTok, which are, again, neither Libs nor are they on TikTok. No, what they are is it's basically a Twitter account run by a formerly anonymous right-winger that would post numerous videos of LGBTQIA+ content. And so the reason that they would do that is basically to show this to the right-wing audience to get them angry, of course. So they gin up the rage, and unfortunately, as a result, it has led to numerous anti-gay and anti-trans laws all over the country. So now let me give you some details, right? So there was a recent Washington Post article that had unmasked the person behind this account, and it was basically a Brooklyn real estate agent named Shia Reichik. Okay, now it's funny because they detailed her efforts to try to break into the mainstream. So there's, numerous accounts like COVID denial. There was one where, like a parody account where she pretended to be a plant in the Biden White House. Those really didn't take off. And then election conspiracies, of course, including January 6th, where she admitted, she's like, yeah, I was at the riot. Although, of course, she didn't call it a riot. Oh, no, very, very peaceful here. As we know, not entirely peaceful, but she was at January 6th. And then finally landing on, in 2020, Libs of TikTok. So as I said, they take videos of people from TikTok and show it to the conservative audience. For example, she posted a woman teaching sex ed to children in Kentucky. Wow. Oh, okay. Sure. They decided to label her a predator, a child predator. And by the way, this is something that she's really latched onto. That account has latched onto, and as well as Fox News and a lot of the right. This is the groomer discourse. So that's not necessarily what started it, but she had, of course, amplified the groomer message. Now, that clip that she had showed on Libs of TikTok actually ended up on Laura Ingraham's show, her Fox News program, with framing that teachers who teach sex ed should be fired. Teachers who are gay and say something about it, they should be fired. Look, and again, this is what they're doing. This is a right-wing cancel culture account. Literally what it is. I mean, it goes and it points out regular people, teachers, professors, instructors, people who are LGBTQIA+ on TikTok, and basically says, look at these people, we need to cancel them. Oh, terrible, they're groomers, and that's why we should cancel them. It is a cancel culture machine. And so they either get dogpiled with hate or fired. And its tweets have reached millions of social media users and has been basically used to set up the discourse for right-wing online. And so understand the whole point is right-wing cancel culture. And of course, the entire point, like one of the biggest tools the right-wing has always employed was trying to cancel things. They're burning books. They're canceling people. And so the irony, hopefully, should not be lost. Now, for example, Libs of TikTok also found the most success with anti-trans tweets, because of course, right? And Reichik's page leaned hard into the groomer allegations by January and called for the firing of any teacher who comes out as gay to their students. She popularized the fake conspiracy theory that schools were installing litter boxes in bathrooms for children who identify as cats. I remember doing that. I remember doing that story where there was a woman who literally went into one of the school meetings, right? School board meetings, and she's like, did you know they're putting litter boxes in the bathroom? No, I didn't know, because it's not actually happening. That's not a real thing that's happening. But obviously, and by the way, she's like, well, I've been hearing around. where you heard it is from Libs of TikTok and all the people that have been informed by Libs of TikTok and numerous accounts like that. It's not real. It didn't actually happen. They're not putting litter boxes in bathrooms. Okay? And so, look, that's what they're doing. She's also amped up anti-LGBTQ bigotry with other dubious, very easily debunked claims. So as I said, it's cancel culture. And in fact, she boasts that her tweets have gotten teachers fired and has encouraged her followers to run for school boards and local offices. Look, I don't have any problem with encouraging people to run for office. I think that's fine. But here you can see the quote unquote logic in this, right? So you spread a bunch of spurious allegations against teachers, have them dogpiled, sent death threats so that they resign or quit or whatever. And then you get right-wingers to run, the people who are outraged and offended by all the stuff that was made up. They run, they take over the school boards. So that's what's going on here, right? Now, considering how this is cancel culture, I think it's really, really funny to point out the irony of how they got boosted by none other than so-called free speech warrior and anti-cancel culture guy, Joe Rogan. In fact, he promoted them several times on his podcast. According to Washington Post journalist Taylor Lawrence, who tracked down the account and identified their owners, its owner, quote, just 4 months after getting started, Libs of TikTok got its big break. Joe Rogan started promoting the account to the millions of listeners of his hit podcast. He mentioned it several times in a show in August and again in late September. Quote, Libs of TikTok is one of the greatest fucking accounts of all time, he said. No, yes, congratulations, Joe. Way to punch down at an entire community and use him as rage bait for cancel culture. You who were scared, who were like, oh, I can't believe they would try to cancel me. All the people that on the left, they're going to try to cancel me. Joe, you can't cancel me. I'm Joe Rogan. And yet, this account's all about canceling people. Yeah. So do you get the hypocrisy here? Now, Ari Drennan, LGBTQ program director for Media Matters, said this: Libs of TikTok is basically acting as a wire service for the broader right-wing media ecosystem. It's been shaping public policy in a real way and affecting teachers' ability to feel safe in their classrooms. So, now, right-wingers, they're enraged that a reporter would do their job and report things. In fact, here's what Ian Miles Chong or Chiang or whatever. Here's what he said on Twitter. Doxing her is like doxing the paper boy for delivering your newspapers. It's not really in anyone's interest to know who Libs of TikTok is, because all she does is archive and collect publicly available videos that you can look for yourself if you weren't so lazy. But honestly, who cares about what people put up on TikTok? Honestly, I couldn't care less what people put up on TikTok. You know, their own opinions, right? So now this account goes and it picks these out, and it cherry picks, of course, some of the, probably the worst or cringiest ones, and then reposts them. And then, of course, delivers commentary on it as well. And so that's the other thing, right? So she'll do commentary, and then, as I mentioned before, call for the firing of such people, or for the dogpiling of such people, the attacks on these people. And so, no, no, this guy is, well, obviously he's wrong. Now, but there's more. The Washington Post exposed Libs of TikTok for what crime exactly? For the sin of showing America what leftists have in store for their children. If you're effective and anonymous, you can expect to be doxxed. It's a last-ditch effort to intimidate you into silence, said Breitbart reporter Alana Mastrangelo? I don't know. So, wait, hold on here. They're saying that, and they're claiming that the owner of the Libs of TikTok has been doxxed, and that's bad because that means she's going to get harassed, and yet if you're familiar with the account, you realize the entire point is to harass people, is to get the people that are featured in the videos harassed. And so, come on. Now, for example, the account had misgendered purposely at least 14 individuals in 15 of its tweets so far this year, in violation of Twitter's terms of service. They got bunked for that, according to a Media Matters review. So, yeah, they got in trouble for harassment. Congratulations. As of April 13th, the 15 tweets that misgendered individuals, this was last year, have received more than 113,000 total engagements. These, of course, they're not all attacks on public figures. Yes, there are public figures that were attacked. The trans swimmer, for example, that was featured heavily on Fox News. They were included, yes, but also just random people that were dead named and misgendered. And of course, called groomers. Again, some of the worst things that you could call people, pedophiles and groomers. So understand this is what they're doing. Now, if you do that to people, what does that do? Well, it gets them, it puts them in danger of being murdered. And here's the big difference, right? And I think it's important to point this out. The right wing murders people. Now, I'm not saying all of them do, obviously not. But understand that there are unhinged people on the right, and they have a lot of guns and a lot of hate because their media is set up in a way to gin up that hatred. Now, left-wingers, they'll punch a Nazi, they'll throw a milkshake. I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm not advocating for violence, of course, in any circumstance, but I am trying to illustrate how the two sides aren't exactly the same. One side will murder you or get you murdered. Now, the thing about Rychick is that I don't think she's going to need to fear for her life, even though, of course, she probably will anyway, or she'll claim that she's afraid for her life. But understand the people that she targets with this stuff have much more to fear. This has led to anti-LGBT bills all over the country, like the ones in Florida and Texas. For example, DeSantis' spokeswoman, Christina Pushaw, has been heavily promoting this account. On March 28th, DeSantis signed this bill, the Parental Rights in Education, also known as Don't Say Gay. And, well, look, throughout March, right-wing figures and media responded to the criticism of the bill with ramped up attacks accusing LGBTQ people of grooming children. Again, the groomers. The same messages initially tweeted by DeSantis spokeswoman Christina Pushaw on March 4th. So understand, in the lead up to him signing that bill, there's been a lot of pressure. Again, pressure against DeSantis, and this defense comes out pushed by Pushaw, as well as right-wing figures, Libs of TikTok, etc. In fact, they used this content from Libs of TikTok as ammunition for their arguments. Media Matters analyzed tweets from Libs of TikTok and found that in addition to posting videos targeting LGBTQ people, the account specifically used groomer-related language in 46 tweets since November 2021. The tweets earned over 220,000 total interactions. That's replies, retweets, likes, and quotes, or an average of nearly 5,000 interactions per tweet. Almost double the average interaction of the account's other tweets. Notably, the majority of the tweets with groomer-related language from Libs of TikTok, 24 out of 46, were posted before March 4th, when Pushaw tweeted similar rhetoric. So, Pushaw also repeatedly praised that account, calling it one of the best accounts on here. She also encouraged other users to look at their so-called evidence. So, look, this person has gotten a lot of attention. She's been on Tucker Carlson, anonymously, of course, and has been featured in the New York Post, The Federalist, The Post Millennial, other right-wing sites, and has been retweeted by Meghan McCain and Glenn Greenwald. Now, funny enough, Greenwald is the one who accidentally confirmed her identity in the Post, which seems to be a pattern for him. Interesting. In fact, She has taken steps to obscure her identity, but software developer Travis Brown found her account history and posted a thread detailing her profile changes. Glenn Greenwald confirmed that a house visited by a Post reporter in LA belonged to her family. Rachel claims to have run the account alone. However, Grant Lally, a lawyer and Republican operative, filed a trademark for Libs of TikTok in August as a news reporter service, but he declined to comment. Now, that's funny because back in February, she said, oh, no, we're not a news service. Quote, I don't do this for money or fame. I'm not some politician or blue check journalist. I feel like there are many small stories that are so important that aren't getting out. And that's what I'm here for. How are spreading fake news conspiracies about litter boxes in bathrooms? How's that important? Well, it's not. It's not. But if you want to fight a culture war, then you have to have ammunition, right? And this is how you do it. Now, the question is, of course, and the thing that they focused on the right is, well, I can't believe the Washington Post would dox a regular person. How dare they? How dare they dox her? So now, wait a minute. Doxing involves very specific circumstances, right? Name and address, place of employment, things like that, right? Is she being doxed? No. I read the piece in the Washington Post. No address, just her name. Just her name and the previous names for her account. And that's it. And so her address, not in the article. So what it is that it is unmasking. And by the way, unmasking is the same thing that Devin Nunes tried to do to a fictional cow. The Devin Nunes cow account on Twitter. He sued them several times trying to find out who was running that account so he could shut them down. So now, if you have a problem with this, oh, how dare they go after her, but didn't have a problem with Devin Nunes, well, then, look, that's hypocrisy. You don't understand what doxing is. Now, here's the thing, right? So I know of a streamer on Twitch who recently got doxed, a trans streamer. Lots of death threats, lots of personal attacks, her name, and also dead name, and personal information all over now. Nonstop hate. It's Keffels, right? Harassed, threatens, accused of being a groomer. Anybody on the right defending her and saying, how dare you dox this person? No. No, of course not. They're not batting an eye. Which means they don't care about the hypocrisy. They don't care about actual real doxing when it happens, especially to trans people. No, they can't. They love doxing trans people and then dead naming them and then urging their followers to attack them. But when it comes to just revealing the name of somebody who runs a Twitter account, when it's on their side, they're like, no, how dare you? How dare you do this? This is worse than 1984. Docs, you are putting their life in danger. No, bullshit. Absolute bullshit.